All right, let's talk about something we have all struggled with, studying. But this isn't about pulling more all-nighters or drinking more coffee. This is about completely changing how you study so you get way better results with way less stress. Let's get into it. You know the feeling, right? You've put in the hours, you've got a stack of notes that could rival a small novel, but you still have that sinking feeling that you don't really get it. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And I've got good news. The problem isn't how hard you're working, it's how you're working. So, what is the number one thing that leads to all that wasted time and effort? It's a trap that almost every single one of us falls into at some point. Here it is, trying to learn the entire textbook. Every single word, every footnote. It's like trying to drink water from a fire hose. It's overwhelming, and honestly, it's super inefficient. The secret isn't to memorize more stuff, it's to focus on the right stuff. So, how do you find that right stuff? Well, believe it or not, your teachers and professors are basically giving you a treasure map. The syllabus? That's your big picture overview of what's important. Those learning objectives for each chapter? That's literally a checklist of what you're supposed to know. And the review questions and key terms at the end of a chapter? Come on, those are basically a sneak peek at potential exam questions. Okay, so once you've figured out what to study, the next big question is how you're going to study it. This brings us to a much smarter way of taking notes, one that can totally transform how you process and remember information. Most of us start out as passive note takers. We just copy things down word for word from a lecture or a book. Your hand is moving, sure, but your brain is kind of checked out. The goal is to shift to active note taking. That's where you're summarizing, you're connecting ideas, and you're putting things in your own words. It's the difference between being a human photocopier and actually being a student. And a fantastic way to do this is the Foursquare method. It sounds fancy, but it is so simple. You just take a page, divide it into 4 boxes. Top left, you put the main concept. Top right, you write the definition, and this is key, in your own words. Bottom left, you come up with a real-world example, and bottom right, you just draw a simple picture or diagram of it. This works because it forces your brain to engage with the same idea from 4 different angles. It builds way stronger connections in your mind. Let's make this real with a classic example, photosynthesis. In square 1, you write the word. In square 2, you define it, something like how plants turn sunlight into food. In square 3, an example, a sunflower turning to face the sun. And in the last square, you could draw a little sun, a plant, and some arrows. See? Suddenly, this big scientific concept is broken down, it's organized, and it's way more memorable. All right, you've narrowed down your material. You're taking these brilliant active notes. But how can you be absolutely sure you've got it down cold before you walk into that exam? Well, there is an ultimate test for that. It's called the Feynman technique, and the core idea is pure genius. It's this: if you can't explain a concept in simple, easy-to-understand terms, then you don't really understand it yourself. True mastery isn't about using big words. It's about making complex ideas feel simple. And here's how you do it. Step 1, just pick your topic. Step 2, pretend you're explaining it to a 5th grader. Use simple language, no jargon. Now, here's the magic moment. Step 3, you are absolutely going to get stuck or stumble over a part. That moment, that hesitation, that's gold. It shows you the exact gap in your knowledge. So you go back, review that specific part, and then try to explain it again until it's smooth and clear. I mean, that really says it all, doesn't it? Teaching something forces you to go beyond just recognizing a term. It proves you have a real working understanding of it, not just a shallow memory. It is the ultimate confirmation that you're ready. We've covered 2 huge, game-changing strategies. Now, let's round out your arsenal with a few more powerful techniques to add to your smart study toolkit. First, active recall. This means you quiz yourself instead of just rereading your notes over and over. That act of pulling information out of your brain is what builds strong memories. Then there's spaced repetition. Study for short periods over several days. It's so much more effective than one monster cram session. For those huge topics, use chunking. Break them down into smaller, bite-sized pieces. And to stay focused, try the Pomodoro technique. Work hard for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. It's a game changer. So let's boil it all down into a simple cheat sheet. Focus on what's actually on the test, use active methods like quizzing yourself, and teach what you learn. And please take breaks and get some sleep. That's when your brain does its work. On the flip side, don't try to memorize everything, don't cram all night, and don't even think about multitasking with your phone nearby. Your focused attention is your superpower. Look, At the end of the day, studying isn't about who can suffer the most. It's about being strategic. It's about working smarter. When you focus on what really matters and use active techniques like the Foursquare and the Feynman method, you're going to feel so much more confident and prepared. So the only question left is, which one are you going to try first?